Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and thank you for viewing this Tekmetric video in this edition of high-level RO workflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a repair order from beginning to end, from customer walking in to customer walking out. So to do that, I'm going to create the repair order from the job board using the Create Repair Order button. I'll select it. Here it'll take you to an inception screen where we can collect our customer's name, vehicle, and concerns. So if you have a customer for the first time, you can create a brand new customer here. You can make them a person or a business. You've got first or last names, phone numbers, additional phone numbers, and remember, you could title this whatever you'd like to. You have special notes about your customer, where they live, birth date, are they tax exempt, do you want to market to them, and do they have a fleet ID? So for today, I want to use an existing customer, so I'm going to search for Frank. You could search by first or last name, phone numbers, and here I can see that I am choosing Frank Stan with his phone number and his email. Next, if Frank brings in a new vehicle today, I can add it. Here you can plug in the license plate with the correct state and search for the VIN, or if you have the VIN, just type it in. If you don't have the VIN, you could search for vehicles, select a vehicle, or you can always use a custom vehicle if it doesn't have a full 17 in the VIN. But for today, we're going to hit the drop down and we're going to choose an existing vehicle that Frank has. So today I'm going to choose a 2011 Honda Element. These are the only two things you need to start the repair order if you just want to jump into it and start creating. For today, I am going to put an odometer reading. We're going to say that Frank is going to stay with the vehicle, which indicates that he's waiting. We're going to leave it as our standard labor rate. Then next, these are the reasons that Frank showed up, so the concerns. So he's concerned with a check engine light, and he's concerned with some noise while driving over bumps. Notice we do have spell check, so I'm going to hover over it. And this is with Chrome or any kind of browser that you're using. Chrome is the go-to, but you can utilize spell check if you'd like to. Next, if Frank says that he wants an oil change, I probably wouldn't put an oil change here. I probably would just build the oil change and get it approved with Frank in front of me. But for today, we're going to leave it with these two concerns. If you have more concerns, you can add as many as you may need. You do want to put one concern within one box so our technicians could diagnose each one of these concerns one at a time. Next, I'm going to decide that this is a returning customer. Here you can track coupons or any kind of marketing material you have out there, see what's driving in customers. Next step is I'm going to hit the Create Repair Order button, and we have just generated a brand new repair order number. The upper left-hand corner here, it's 198, Frank Stan's 2011 Honda Element, and you do have an icon of a key tag, so you can carry keys with cars. So next, before we start on this repair order, I'm going to collapse my left sidebar, and then notice I can also collapse my right sidebar. So every repair order will have this sidebar here to the right, and it has some good information. So these are all accordion folders that do collapse vertically and horizontally. So the first one is RO details. Here, Service Advisor, we are demo user currently. So if I want to dispatch this ticket, I'm going to select on this word here that says Select Technician. Then I can decide to choose the advisor, or I can dispatch the ticket to Technician C. We can always update our labor rate. You could put promised times if Frank wasn't waiting for the car. We can save parts if Frank wants his old parts back, and we can decide to change this from a waiter to a non-waiter if Frank decides to leave. So I'm going to say we don't want the parts, but Frank is going to continue to wait. Below your RO details, you do have vehicle details. It'll give you the VIN number, license plate, you have a spot for unit numbers, special notes about the vehicle, and you also have a Carfax report right here, as long as you have it turned on in your integration section. Below that, you do have customer information where you have phone numbers, addresses, special notes like how to pronounce the customer's name, how to get them home, and so forth. Underneath that, you have fluids, which will give you capacities for this particular vehicle. As long as you have the VIN number in there, you'll have all this great information. You also have common filters and blades, gives you the OEM part numbers. In specs, it'll tell you how to reset the service light, how to reroute drive belt back on the engine, and technical service bulletins are straight from the manufacturer, pushed into the Tekmetric to help your techs and your advisors identify problem areas that are hard to find. So throughout the whole process, this sidebar will follow you anywhere you go through each of the 5 phases of the repair order. Since we already dispatched this to Technician C, let's go ahead and collapse it and let's travel back to the job board. So for this, let's now put on our technician hat and pretend we're Technician C. So now that we see we have a vehicle on our job board, let's isolate to see just what Technician C is working on. Technician C would then jump into the repair order and then jump straight into the second phase of the repair order called inspections. Here, the concerns are listed for your technician where we can go through them. So at this point, if I was the tech, I would think, all right, I'm going to scan the car, see what faults we have with the check engine light. I might do a small road test, drive it into the lift, into the bay, lift it up, take a look at it, and then here we can write any diagnosis that we find. So your technician would click into where it says add findings, and then below the customer concern, we could put the fault that came up, and also what it's going to take to fix this check engine light. Your technician could even write how much time it's going to take if they're finding their own labor times. This is a great place for it. If the tech said they needed 5 hours, I would definitely go out there and figure out why they want 5 hours. But this is a great place for you and your technician to talk about what the game plan is for fixing this particular vehicle. And I'm going to hit save. Next, if we see that we got noise while driving over bumps, we could drive the vehicle, lift it up in the air, diagnose it, and let's just say it needs some sway bar links. Save it. Now next, your technician can also add a digital vehicle inspection. Either the advisor can add it, or the technician, completely up to your processes. So here I'm going to add an inspection. Let's say we're going to do a 20-point inspection. After adding the inspection, the technician then can go down the list and rate each one of these tasks simply by hitting the edit pencil here or here. So by hitting the edit pencil, it expands the DVI, and now Technician C can start rating each one of these tasks. What these ratings mean is green is checked OK, yellow might need attention in the future, red means it's exploded and needs to be replaced right now, and the minus sign is not applicable. So if your technician walks up to the car, doesn't see any dents or scratches, then jumps into the vehicle, notices the cluster looks good, seat belts are working, drives the vehicle into the bay, opens up the hood, and under the hood he finds the drive belt is cracking. So here your technician can write any kind of diagnostics that need to be attached to any component. So the belt is cracking. Your technician can also add a photograph or take a video. I wouldn't do a full hour video. I would do 30-second burst, 15 seconds. I wouldn't even do 5 minutes, just to not have to wait for that load up time. For the pictures, all you have to do is select it. If they're on a smaller device, it's going to ask to use the camera's device, or they can upload a photo. Since I'm on a computer, a desktop here, I'm going to hit the icon of a camera, and I'm going to find a picture that I want to add to the digital vehicle inspection. You could put as many pictures as needed, and once you have photographs here, you can hover over them, hit the 3 dots. You can delete it if you chose the wrong one, or you can hit edit to identify real problematic areas with the particular component. And this one, the belt needs to be replaced. This thing may snap in the future, so we're going to recommend it. This is going to give great visual aid to your customer, so they will make a good, educated decision to replace this belt while the car is with you. Now next, we can also identify things that may need to be fixed in the future. Let's say like an air filter. Maybe it's looking okay today, but we want to recheck it next visit. We can also take a picture of it, or we could take a video once again. Now, if you do have a long, big DVI, it may take the technician quite a while to hit every green check button. So what we did is build a tool called Radar Tasks. So notice if I select green and checked OK, and then if I scroll back down, it has already highlighted everything green automatically. And this is intended to save time. So the next step is I'm going to hit save, and notice what happens. When your technician saves that DVI, everything that they found that was red or yellow will automatically populate up to the top. That way the advisor would know exactly what to build to fix this vehicle. Your technician next would then want to complete the DVI by hitting the Mark Complete button. By doing this, it's going to timestamp when we finished our diagnosis, and it's going to send our advisor a notification that we're finished. And it's done. So the next step is let's jump back to the job board and let's put on our advisor hat. Since we just got a notification that Technician C is done with the diag, I'm going to click into the repair order by clicking anywhere in the tile. And it'll always take you to the Summary tab. Now the Summary tab is a quick way to figure out lifetime stats, how many times the customer has been here, how much money they're spending with us, the first time they showed up, the last time they showed up. We also have an activity feed which tracks who's in the repair order and what actions are they taking. You can also add activities if you need to put any kind of information in here to share with everyone else, like the customer left something personal within the vehicle and where we put that personal item for the customer. You also have a way to create a follow-up appointment. So if we need to check refrigerant levels, oil levels, we would just create an appointment, so the vehicle would come back so we can take care of that. You can always check job history here in the Summary tab. And the great thing about this is we broke it out from repair order to repair order to where now you can search by job titles. Notice that there are 2 jobs on repair order 195. It's because we did 2 jobs on the repair order and they declined one of them. You also have purchase orders here. This will start collecting as we start ordering parts for this particular repair order. The inspection tab is where the technician would find any problem areas, and then us as advisors, we would then move into the estimate phase. Technicians by default do not have this tab, but we're going to use this concern box to build the repair order. So we know the check engine light's on, we know it's a misfire, and so what I'm going to do is hit the 3 dots to the right of that concern. Here I can hit copy to estimate to bring the job down, create a new job, and bring the concern down within a new job. You can create a canned job. We can use our brand new labor guide. You can search scheduled maintenances. You can edit the concern, or you can delete it. So for this, what I want to do is hit copy to estimate for this concern. What it did is it added a job at the bottom. It added the concern as the job title and our technician notes as the job notes. These are customer-facing notes at this point. The customer would never see the notes up here, but they will always see them down here. In fact, you can't hide them. All you can do is manage them. So to build this job, what I want to do is hit the edit pencil either here or here to expand my job. So right from here, I can use the labor guide. I can look up maintenances, or I can add a manual labor if I want to just put in R&R coil. Tab over to the hours section, put an hour for the technician. So 1 hour times my labor rate, well, let's choose labor rate, 125, we're charging $125 worth of labor. Now, if you want a little help finding the labor, let's try to use the labor guide this time. So by clicking at labor from labor guide, it takes us into this modal here where we can now search coil. And I'm looking for ignition coil. Looks like it takes a level B skilled technician. I'm going to add this to my job. And here's the part as well. So I'm going to add the part at the same time. Now this part is just informational. Since we know what labor we're choosing, the labor guide realizes what part we're going to need to successfully do this repair. So right from here, I can update this to 4 coils. And then I'm going to hit add to job. So now we have an additional labor We'll get rid of the manual labor. And then we have 4 parts. And remember, this is just informational, but it did pull in the OEM part number, and it does give us a recommended retail price. So at this point, if you're going to call your local dealer to try to get a quote from these, you can call the dealer, and then if they tell you, hey, these parts, they're going to cost you, I don't know, let's say $35 a piece, $35, we're going to retail them for 90, let's do 89. 99. We got our OEM part number. You could put the brand, completely up to you. So we'll leave it just like that. Notice that my part does say needed. So you can expand the job and you can put any notes here where you got the part, who you need to call, and so forth. So we're going to leave that one as needed currently until we get approval for the job, and then we'll order the part. So next, let's scroll back up and let's take a look at the next concern. Noise while driving over bumps. We got sway bar links here. Now I want to take a look at job history for this one. Notice in my declined job section, we have already quoted the sway bar links, and they declined them last time. So to add this declined job, I'm going to hit the 3 dots, and I'm going to add this declined job back to my new repair order to take care of those sway bar links. Next, I'm going to jump back to vehicle issues. We've got belts and filters, and remember, we also need an oil change. So I'm going to add a can job by selecting the blue button that says Build Estimate. Here you can use our labor guide. You can add a can job. You can add a job from scratch. You can search scheduled maintenances. You can add a brand new sublet. You can add a fee at a repair order level or a discount at the repair order level. For this one, I'm going to add a can job, and I'm going to type in oil to find my basic oil change, select it, and add it to my brand new repair order. You can always manipulate a can job, change quantities. This one I know set correctly, so I'm not going to touch it just yet. You also have categories, so you can categorize each job. Let's call this one engine repair. So at this point, we have 3 jobs, including the can job. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this out to my customer by scrolling up, and underneath the odometer reading, we can check profits on the ticket before sending it out to the customer. So for this one, we are at 71% gross profit for everything. You could do it by labor and parts. You could do it by jobs or by technician. So parts, we're killing it, 91%, and the labor, we're at 63%. Go to the very bottom, jump back. You could message your customer, just a message if you want to use text message, but we can also share the estimate, the inspection, or the final invoice with the customer, or we can always print out anything that we need. The estimates for the customer, the repair order would be the worksheet for the technician, final invoice, inspections with photos or without, and you can utilize the oil change sticker as long as you have an odometer reading in this field up top. So next, what I want to do is share this with my customer. I'm going to share the estimate. I'm going to send it via text message, and we'll put a phone number there and send it on over. When it goes to your customer, it's going to look just like this. So I'm going to hit the green authorization button. So this is exactly what your customer sees. It'll say, hello, Frank. Thank you for being a customer of the shop. You've got your inspection results here to the right. They can see photographs and once again make that educated decision to fix their vehicle. They can take a step back and look at the estimate of work. Here's the check engine light. We got the diagnosis and the coils. We got the sway bar links making noise, and then the oil change does need to get done. So here the customer then could say, okay, well, I want to definitely fix the check engine light. I'm not worried about the noise again, but I do want to do the oil change. So at this point, Frank understands it's going to be $700 out the door. They can look at terms of service, which would be your disclaimers on the repair order. And then Frank would say, I do authorize it, and hit the authorization button. By doing this, your advisor would get a text message indicator that something has been approved. So if we jump back to the job board, we'll notice that Frank has automatically moved over into the work in progress section because something has been approved. So the next step is we need to order those parts so Technician C can get to work. So I'm going to jump back into the repair order. We're going to go back into the estimate tab, and then we're going to travel back into our parts hub, where you have 3 tabs at the bottom: needed, quoted, and ordered and received. So if you wanted to search for this part, once again, you could search Parts Tech or Worldpac, but since I already called my local dealer, I want to call them back to tell them I need the part. So I'm going to enter a phone order. We'll find our local dealer here. You can always add a vendor if you need to. The PO is always going to be the repair order number. The invoice, we're going to wait. It'll probably show up with the parts. We collect it. And then down below, this is the part that we're ordering. So if there's a core, you can indicate that as well. And just for kicks, let's say that there's a dollar core here. And then I'm going to enter the order. So at this point, the parts should be on the way to the shop. We're just waiting for them to show up. So if I was the advisor, I would then jump into the Work in Progress tab, and I would update the status to say that we are waiting on parts. So the technician knows exactly what's going on, and everyone on board knows what's going on with this particular ticket. Now, when the parts do show back up, we're going to jump back into the Estimate tab. We're going to go back in the Parts hub, and then we're going to select Ordered and Received. So here's the part that we're waiting for. Now I want to mark it received. They give me an invoice number. I'll plug that in. I'm going to notify the technician that the parts are here. So now the technician will get a text message indicating that their parts have hit the ground. And at this point, I am done as an advisor. The ball is currently in the court of the technician. So let's put our technician hat back on. Technician would then jump into their own repair order from their job board, and they would automatically move in the Work in Progress section. Your technician is constantly going to be toggling between these 2 tabs, Inspections and Work in Progress. So if I'm going to start working on the car, I'm going to say I'm in progress, and more than likely I'm going to start on that oil change or the check engine light. And now I'm running time on it. So once I fix this ignition coil, set drive cycles, basic settings, road test the vehicle, when everything's looking good, well, then I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to stop my job clock. I'm going to complete this labor operation, and I could put any kind of notes here. Maybe we're complete with that one, and I'm going to add this down below. I'm going to add my advisor to it. I can also add other folks at the same time if they also need to see this note. If we jump back to our job board, notice that our timeline does show that we are 36% done currently. So if Frank called up, we can give good information like, Frank, it's going to be this long, or we're 10% done, we're 90% done. Currently we're 36% done, and I'll call you as soon as we wrapped it up. So then your technician would then jump into the next job. Work in progress, so let's go ahead and knock out the oil change. So now we're running time on the oil change. So if your technician, for some reasons, forgets to run time or forgets to stop the clock, you as an advisor or a manager, you will be able to hit the edit pencil and manage that time. Once technician C is done with the oil change, they'll either hit the finish button here or here to stop the clock and finish the labor time. Notice by collecting that, it automatically went to 100% done. Your technician will have indicators that there's a core involved, so they know to put the core back in the box, back on the core shelf, and you'll have a good timeline of how they're doing, how things are going. They can always add a comment here, and you as an advisor, you can add a comment back and tag the technician as well. Now that the technician's done, let's go ahead and put our advisor hat back on. So I'm going to click back into the repair order here. I'm going to jump into the Work in Progress tab, where I can touch the ticket up, I can review technician notes, I can change any kind of verbiage on the estimate here in the Estimate tab. And then when I'm all done, the ticket is ready to go, I'm going to go back to the Work in Progress tab, and I'm going to hit the Complete Work button. By doing this, you can update the odometer reading, and you can send a notification to your customer that the vehicle is ready via email or text message. And then down below, you can decide when your technician is going to get flagged for this particular job. If your technicians are on a salary or hourly, no need to worry about this. But if they are flat rate, you can decide when the technician is getting time for the repair order. By hitting confirm, the repair order has automatically bounced from the work in progress phase into the completed phase, because we're just waiting for Frank to show up so we can collect some money and release the vehicle to him. So when Frank does walk through the door, I'm going to click back into the repair order, or when he wakes up, he is waiting, I suppose. We're going to jump into the last phase of the repair order called the payment tab. Here you can take cash, credit, checks, or if you want to send it to accounts receivable. So if this was an extended warranty, I would take a payment, the deductible, and send the rest to accounts receivable and wait for the rest of the payment. For today, we're going to take cash because I like cash and Frank always has money. So let's go ahead and select cash. He's going to pay us $693, and we're going to pay and post. By doing this, it has removed itself from the job board. Before you leave this ticket, you can always print it out if they want a hard copy, or you could send that final invoice via email or text message. If we jump back to the job board, notice Frank is completely gone. He's not on our job board. So if you ever had to get back to a paid ticket and Frank was wondering about something, or he wanted to get it printed out, beside your job board, hit the active drop down and go to paid to find all your paid tickets. And from here, you can navigate back to Frank's ticket. Thank you so much for viewing this video. This has been High Level RO Workflow. My name is Daniel, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and to share it with the rest of your team. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would like to see more helpful videos for auto repair shops. Have a wonderful day.